So we are Hagy Lane. I am Drakka, and the podcast is brutally delicious.
One, two, three, four. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Where are you guys located?
We're in London, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, okay. My partner's up in from Toronto as well. He could make it this morning, or he might get in later. I'm not sure, but he's up in Toronto as well.
Ah, nice. Yeah, they're about, I want to say about an hour, 45 minutes from us.
Oh, okay.
A little bit east. So,
Gotcha. So we can jump right in and talk about, and so I'm going to say Hagy Lane. Is that right?
Hagy Lane. Yes.
Hagy Lane. Okay, perfect. I just want to make sure I got the pronunciation right. For those not familiar with Hagy Lane, can you give us the 2-sentence elevator pitch?
Sure. We're industrial new metal, gothic, paranormal. We like dark, mysterious material, and we try to write that way. But we also have lots of influences, classic rock type influences too as well, and classic metal too as well. So yeah, that's more or less it.
Okay, so I've been, when I was doing my research for the interview here, you guys have been around since '97. Is that correct?
Well, I have been working solo since '97. We launched in about 2006, and I had band members with me there. We were starting to play out live, but then I'd already had a daughter, and then another one came along, and it just completely railroaded me. I still was working, obviously, right, because of paying the bills and whatnot, and having a family was kind of more or less that was my focus at that time.
Priority,
so
right.
I kind of put it on hold for a little bit and waited till my girls got older, and now they're 18, 16, self-sufficient, got boyfriends, part-time jobs, and I don't get to they live with their mom and come to our house on the weekends, but now they've got boyfriends and part-time jobs, so I'm lucky to see them very often.
Right.
I talk to them pretty much every day, but
then you were able to dust off the gear and start playing again. Yeah,
exactly. So I started, getting up to speed with things probably about 2018, maybe a little 2019, and then started writing. And I'd been stockpiling anyway whenever I had a moment to sit down with things, and had to do some brushing up on technology, DAWs and VSTs and things like that. So now I just more or less I record at home, and then I seek out a studio where I send stems and tracks, and then they work with them too as well. But for the most part, I'm getting to the point now where I'm pretty much producing the whole thing.
Oh, nice.
Mixing and mastering too as well. So
doing the whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah. And it's cost effective. So paying a studio to do stuff, you're cutting into all your personal money. So I just decided that I needed to scale back on that stuff. And now that I've got the equipment and the knowledge base, I'm going at it.
Nice. So Amber Red, Mother Earth came out, about a month ago now, I guess we're looking at?
About a month, yeah.
What has been the response to it so far?
Pretty good. Lots of stuff on YouTube. It's over the 5-minute thing, so I haven't really promoted it on Spotify or any of the other media outlets. I've been focusing on trying to get the YouTube hours up and getting the channel monetized.
Yeah.
Then I can, really start to work. Right now, as it stands, we're not far off for monetization. So hopefully over the next little while, we'll get our followers up too as well, and really start hacking away at things.
So if you're watching or listening to this, go head over to Hagy Lane and smash the subscribe button.
like and share, please.
That's the name of the game now. It's a lot different than when you first started, right? It's all this other
Exactly.
nonsense now. Instead of you have to wear so many hats.
Yeah, 100%. And it's time consuming. I have my sister join in with the project too as well. And she goes by Crone. And so she's doing some vocals and keyboards too as well. Really good lyrical writer, unbelievable. And then I help her, of course, with some of the melodies and
Right.
choruses and stuff. But the one song we are working on a new one, and I'm hoping it's out next month, maybe May. And it's her singing it, and it's something that she wrote all by herself, vocally and lyrically. And I just put the music to it, and then wrote backing vocals to it too as well. And I'm very excited about the song. It's going to be a good song, but it takes time.
So are you guys both paranormal? I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Freaks.
yes,
You're
we
not freaks,
love
but
it.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. It's ironic because my sister lives right beside a graveyard.
Oh, nice. So she
So,
draws her inspiration right next door.
right. So I'm a YouTube fanatic, period. So I love watching just YouTube, and I love paranormal. I gravitate and watch some of the paranormal shows out there, and I like, as long as they're authentic, that's what really gets me interested in it.
Right.
Travel Channel has, a bunch of paranormal shows on, and some of them are kind of corny, cheesy, and you can kind of tell that they're fudging things a bit. But
Right.
some of them are legit. And when they get, there's one that I can't recall the name of the show. It's got a woman in it that does psychic stuff and a retired cop.
Hmm.
So he goes out by himself and explores all the stuff behind the place that they're investigating, and then she does her own thing, and then they meet up and sit down with the people that are
Interesting.
talking about it. It's really cool. I love that one. And I also like paranormal TV. I think it's called paranormal TV series or something
Mhm.
like that. Those guys are pretty cool too.
Do you have any, aside from YouTube and TV, do you have any personal experiences in, like, are you doing the ghost hunting and doing that sort of thing?
Well, I've always been interested in it. I believe that people that write and play music have the ability to challenge, whether they want to channel, I should say, have the ability to channel, and if they want to brush up on, excuse me, those kinds of things, then they can, experience some of those
Right.
things. So I learned a whole bunch of things back in, like, I want to say like early 90s, 95, somewhere around there, on spirituality and learning to listen and be in tune with the spirit world. And it helps with my writing too, as well, in the music field too, as well. So you come across some pretty interesting souls, and just you learn how to recognize the signs that there's a spirit around you.
Hmm.
And once you understand the principles and that stuff, it's pretty friggin' interesting. So, like, I do 100% believe that they're always around you.
Right. So I'll be honest, I don't have a thought on it either way. I don't know enough about
Right.
it, but I used to work a job not far from here, and I worked like evening shift, so we'd get out around midnight or so.
Yes.
And I live in Richmond, Virginia, which is very historical for, Confederate stuff, and everybody says that stuff is around. And for a couple weeks straight, ghost hunters was out there. Like, I'd leave work and they'd be out there with all their stuff and and a couple times I got out and kind of was just hanging around, and I didn't see anything, but I could see where the attraction would be for sure.
Yeah. I used to live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania,
Okay, so that's
right
almost the same thing,
around
right?
that area. Yeah.
That's near
And
Gettysburg, right?
right, exactly. I've been to Gettysburg, I think, 3 times. And the most interesting thing that I thought about it was if you go on a ghost tour with them, it's so cool. And they'll tell you, take a snapshot, like a camera shot of this place, and you will see stuff. So it was one place that with the naked eye, you could see that it was totally developed. It was like a two-story building. And then there was an addition at some point put onto the building. Well, and I had like one of those, Kmart type cameras that are, disposable at that time. That was like 20 years ago when I lived down there. So anyway, I took a shot of this building, and when I had them developed, everything developed but the addition.
Really?
It was so weird. And there was just different things. And we walked over these sewers and you could hear like moaning going on. It wasn't like super loud or anything. You had to really be quiet and listen, but it was there. So there's definitely ghosts out in Gettysburg.
That's great. I mean, I've heard that. And like I said, I don't have an opinion either way because I've never experienced anything. I've done some ghost walks in, Savannah, Georgia, wherever, but I've never experienced anything. But I don't rule it out. I don't have any idea.
Yeah, you have to be kind of taught what to look for too, and what to listen for. And then when you get into the understanding that part of things, then you will definitely have experiences.
All right, so one more on this, and we'll get back to Hagy Lane. But
sure,
are you the guy with the meters?
We don't do any of that stuff. No equipment or anything. But you can hear it. I don't need technology. I can hear it full blown.
I wonder if there's certain people are predisposed to that.
It's probable. I've always been a little weird when it came to that stuff.
I wasn't. That wasn't my my point here. I wasn't calling you.
No, it's all good.
Abnormal.
No, I didn't. And it's all good. Like I say, I've had sensitivities since I was pretty much really little, and just felt comfortable with talking with ghosts. But even since I was like 3-4 years old, it was really strange. Wow. But so as you get older, then you learn more and more about the stuff. And if you're interested,
sort of refine it. Right. No, that makes sense. So are you planning on taking Hagy Lane out on the road at all, or is it too early to tell?
We are for sure. It's a matter of time right now with the logistics of everything. Like we were actually invited to a tour this summer, and we backed out of it. And the reason why was because it's not that this is no pity party or any of that monkey business, but my wife was in remission from Hodgkin's.
Oh, wow.
So anyways, we got some kind of negative lab results back last week. So we're hoping that it's not what we think, but we don't know. So I do not want to commit. Thank you. I don't want to commit to being out on the road until we have a better idea.
Life first, for sure.
Right. And then we got the politics, of course, pandemic and COVID. So if we're going to play, we're going to do some stuff locally. Like my city's about 500,000.
Right. So, and a good music scene.
Right. London, Ontario's got a great scene. We got Toronto, we got Montreal, we got Hamilton. We'll work our channels up here. But I prefer to gravitate towards the American audience. We're already received really well down south, especially on the West Coast. And I network with a band called Stitched Up Heart.
Definitely heard the name.
Yeah, they're pretty well known. And, they have lots of people that they network with. And it's just paths crossing. Butcher Babies, they've done stuff with, and different bands like that. So like we're all kind of bouncing off each other. Have another track that's going to come out probably, I'd say, the fall that I'm working on, and Stitched Up Heart's guitarist is tracking on it.
Oh, nice.
So I'm working with some well-knowns, and with Richard and Annabelle. being ex-members of Cradle of Filth.
Yeah, I've had
Uh,
Annabelle on the show a bunch of times in different
she is
variations of
so
things. She's
cool.
great. Yes.
Ironically, she teaches my daughters
She was
vocal
in
lessons.
Devilement, right?
Yeah, she's in
Yeah.
Vale now.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, we've had her on
and
with both projects, right?
yes. So anyway, she's teaching my sister vocal lessons and my two daughters.
Oh, nice.
So it was kind of cool. And then we were able to get Rich in on a guest appearance for a session
Right.
and to do the guitar for Amber Red. And ironically, Amber Red was wrote back in like 2002. And I kept it on ice because it just every time I went to progress it, I progress it track wise, but then it would just something would happen, fall apart, and leave it, and I had to shelf it for a bit and then
Right.
come back to it, and it kept happening. But finally, this time we were able to push it through. And I love the track. It's got more of alternative metal, classic rock maybe feel,
Mhm.
but compared to some of my other stuff, which is more industrial and keyboard oriented. But
Right.
I wanted to get it out. It's a very close to home, heartfelt song.
Gotcha.
And so we chose to release that one. And on Friday, March 17th, we released another one that's more up our alley, which is really, really heavy metal, grinding metal, not like
Mhm.
grindcore or anything, but
Right.
like kind of like a straight up the gut, hit you in the face kind of 80s metal almost in a sense, but with the industrial packaging behind it too.
Gotcha.
And so it's and that one was wrote way back too, back in like 2005, and I let that sit for a while and nurture and kind of like aging cheese.
Right.
So but the one that we're hoping to get out with in the next couple months is was just wrote, so it's pretty fresh song.
Nice. So in a perfect world, I could see this being super thematic on stage, right? I mean, imagine if the funds were there. Are you thinking that eventually? Is that like the goal to make this a multimedia sort of experience?
Yes, 100%. We don't want to I mean the whole point of it. I'm not a fantastic guitarist or any of that monkey business. Like I play multiple instruments, and I've never been really good at playing one specific instrument.
Mhm.
Strength wise, I would say vocally is probably my strongest suit, but I can play drums, guitar, pretty much anything I get my hands on. But with a simplicity, and I don't believe in writing complex because I think you lose people when that happens.
Yes.
I That's just my personal feeling. I mean, you've got your diehard guitar shredders out there that just gravitate towards really cool bands like
Yeah.
Lorna Shore, or a little less maybe a Slipknot or Lamb of God. But that's never really been my focus. Now, back in the early late 90s, I played in a couple very heavy hardcore bands
Mhm.
that were grindcore. But when I went by myself and started to do my own thing, then that's when everything kind of took a different shift. And
Right.
I was like focused on writing simple, being simple, but making the music count and hit in a artistic way. But yes, 100% theatrical. Want to make it work on all levels.
Also, on those same levels, I'm sure you've thought of it, or if you haven't, then I get a percentage of whatever you end up selling. But I could I could see this being soundtrack kind of stuff for movies or
Yes.
games or something, maybe even games.
Yes, we've reached out to a couple licensing companies
Oh, so my
already.
percentage is out then. You already came up with that.
Yeah, we'll have to contract that into the thing. But yeah, we've started that process too, as well as start getting it on TV and movie stuff.
Yeah, because when I was listening to it, that was it's got that sort of element to it that I could see it being in
Yeah.
those sort of genres or in those sort of mediums, not genres, but
There's a song especially that I feel very sensitive about that would work so well with, say, a horror paranormal type audience.
right. That's what I was
Um,
thinking for sure.
and the song is called Alia. And they, unfortunately, because of its graphic content in the video section of YouTube, you can watch it, but you have to understand that it's got themes of, I'm not going to say the word harm, and we'll just leave it there.
Hmm.
But because of that, if you've got an account and you're of age, you can watch the video, and it doesn't get me anywhere or do anything for me, but like it's such a good video, I don't want to take it down.
Right.
And it is fantastic. The lady that did it for us just blew it out of the water. The song is good. It talks about harm, at which, I mean, obviously, I'm like, absolutely, like, oh man, we got to help people. Mental health is really becoming
Yes, we talk
such
about
a
that a lot
problem.
on the show. I agree.
Yes. And so, like, I even attached at the very end of the video all the hotlines that pertain to that
Right.
stuff. And because I'm concerned and I'm worried about people, like, I just,
Especially in the last few years.
oh yeah, the pandemic really popped that one up. And it's so sad because like our world has just turned into such a confusing place to live anymore.
Hmm.
And like we got to do more to help and nurture people.
But
And
it seems to me, and I don't want to get political or anything else, but it
yep,
seems to me everybody is more self-centered and worried about themselves than ever.
100%. It's like almost like you got to wonder, what are the programs on TV? Is that affecting people in that psychological framework? Like I think the whole cell phone and being able to watch media
I
in
think
your
social media
bedroom.
has a ton to do with it, right? It's
Yeah,
all these look at me TikToks or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
I can't
yeah.
think of what the other one's called, Snapchat or all that other
Yes.
BS.
Yeah, I know. And, my daughters, they've struggled with their own vices as well, especially with those social media accounts and how destructive they can be. And, when they were younger, I would try to limit them as much as I could, but
Right.
it's so hard to track them anymore, too. And so, anyway, that's just,
Yeah, that's that.
it was tough
So we're running
business.
up against time, but if fans want to
Sure.
find Hagy Lane, how do they get in contact with you or find you online or?
The best way right now, we've got a website up, haggylane.com. Go there. All our links, all our social media, all our music media, everything is there. You can Google us and you will see all of the links come up there too, as well. And a little bit of descriptive stuff as well
Nice.
in things. We haven't got the Wikipedia thing going yet, but that's probably
And there's
coming
always
soon
something,
too.
right?
Yes, yeah, it's a growth process.
Yes.
And my wife works full time, so we she's my quarterback
Right.
really when it comes to that, because if I didn't have her involved, then I'd get lost in this stuff.
Right.
Because everybody knows if you're writing music how much energy and time it takes of your day.
Oh yeah.
And so we get caught up in that. And we appreciate everything that you do for us on a social level.
Thank you, my friend. Good luck to your wife.
Thank
Definitely
you.
sending
Yes.
positive vibes out.
Thank you, brother.
And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for taking the time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank
Be
you.
well. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Hello out there.
Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.